nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to, unfortunately, the end of the road show of SA Soccer Roundtable for San Antonio FC. Joining me is Royce and El Gato Blanco in the back there. And we'll start with you, Rafa, since you don't have the cat substituting for you at this point. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you, Harry?
Doing well. How was your weekend?
Interesting, some heartbreak, but hey, we get over it. Just like the ex-girlfriends and all that.
I'm a little bit out of practice on ex-girlfriends. So.
For real.
20 years of marriage. If I get an ex now, it's a whole different story.
Yikes.
So Royce, now that you've replaced Los Gatos Blancos, how are you?
Yeah. Proud. Very proud. Disappointed. Mainly proud.
I'm more sad than disappointed.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. There was nothing disappointing about this season.
And
nothing.
Even this game, they gave it all on the pitch. Just it's a game of inches. And
literally
that 3 times. On their first goal, on Epps' almost brace, and then Dylan's unfortunately miss on the PK. Just a game of inches.
That's it, man.
And
also 3 of the 5 Orange County penalties, that one went right under Jordan and right by his hand. The other 2 were an inch from his hand. One, I think he got a paw on. Game of inches. I mean, that close to saving one, and we're right back in it. So,
and then to be on the flip side, just to be fair, Jordan Farr had 3 consecutive saves.
That sequence was insane.
An inch either direction, and OC grabs the lead there. So just to be fair, we're laminating about our close shots, but they had some close shots as well.
He was jumping around like El Gato Blanco.
Very true.
So I want to give a shout out to 210 Alliance. I went out to the hops over at
Big Hops off Huebner and I-10.
Huebner. It was a fun time. There was probably 20-30 of us in there.
Nice.
Good mixture of 210. Several of Mission City came over. I was there. So, and then, they're just the fans there, but it was a great environment. And so thank you to 210 for hosting that for us that didn't want to go downtown, and have to deal with that. So thank you to Chris, our buddy in 114, for coming out. He bought me a beer. Robert bought me a beer. And, I'd already had spent the day at AJ's soccer games, at Surf. So I was like, 2 beers, that's enough, because the wife said, hey, I'm going to stay up and make sure you're careful, and if you pay attention to signs like that, you don't push issues. Wasn't the night to test
to
that
let
limit.
loose. Let loose.
So,
yeah.
You get those warning shots, you better pay attention to them. So for that here, but no, thank you to Stuart and 210 Alliance. Was fun. I won it's 2 6-packs, but two 12-packs of Ranger Creek's San Antonio Lager, which cheering on for the boys.
Very cool.
For that here. So Great time. Rafa, where'd you watch the game at?
I ended up watching it here at home. I was after being on the road for a couple weeks. I was like, I needed to chill. I was this close actually also going to the UTSA game, but like, no, I need to relax. I need to let my body heal a little bit. So I get to see the heartbreak here at home. So
Yep.
December 3rd, UTSA. Let's fill the dome. That was a good story to start the day.
Yeah.
comeback.
That was
kind of like the good omen. I thought like, hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna.
That's kind of what I thought because they've been winning. San Antonio FC has
We've
been
been
winning,
winning.
and they at last minute. So I was like, oh man. And yeah, I mean, we all know how it went, but I mean, birds up. That was amazing. I saw somebody said that was the best moment in the Alamo Dome since the Memorial Day miracle by Sean. God dang it.
Elliot.
Sean Elliott.
Elliott, thank you. God, I just completely blinked on his name. Sean Elliott, thank you. Which that's tough to argue, to be honest. Tough to argue.
Those are the game of inches with that touchdown catch and the F shot.
I still don't know how that coach didn't go for it on fourth and
a chain link,
2 inches. Whatever it was.
It's because he trusted his defense to stop UTSA.
Still,
they had been
you get how you are running the ball.
No, for sure.
You control it. You put it in UTSA's offense had shown earlier in the half that they can go 75 yards in a minute and some seconds. So,
and I'll bring up a point to get us back on track. I saw a lot of people wondering why Alan Marcina didn't put in Lindley in for Mo after Mo kept getting kicked and was obviously injured during the match on Saturday. To which I respond, have you been watching Mo? Have you seen how dominant he's been all season? You go with the guy that got you there. And until he literally can't walk, he's staying out there. And he still created the chances for Epps. Those really came through the midfield, through Mo. The goal that was scored, that was a cross in from Connor.
We'll get to it.
Let's go. We can start talking about the beginning of the game, or we can look at the highlights.
These are the highlights via YouTube, via USL Championship here, as always here.
Tonight's match presented by Hogue, Western Conference Final, Orange County, San Antonio. We are underway from Irvine, California. It is Orange County in those orange tops, San Antonio in all white. Dominguez able to face up. The underlap. Shot coming on and far able to protect his near post.
The best thing about Orange County is its calculated chaos. There's an unpredictability about them that makes it so difficult to understand where the next...
Hell of a goal. You got to give them that. Hell of a goal.
Yeah, that was, 100% a set play to have their center backs go out, suck in our center back, so there's space behind them, and their strikers just sitting there waiting for the ball. That was obviously a set piece, and it was perfectly played out. You got to give it to him. It was perfectly played out.
And I honestly think there was going to be a flick. I think he probably was going to flick that ball to somebody, and I think that was him. But he got it on that. He got it really good on that volley.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming Maloney was the closest one to him, so that's probably his guy. And I'm not trying to place blame on Maloney, but just because you mentioned the forwards got cup here. Here's Tanner that just misses it, and it land, and you can already see him lining up. Then that's why you're saying, hey, this is planned here.
Spoiler alert: the guy that's closest to the guy who scores is normally never the guy's fault.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
The person who's supposed to be marking him. It's either Ford or Mitch, and considering it's on the left side, that's probably Ford's guy right there, or even Jasser.
But Ford is way back here. Jasser's up here. Jasser's
okay,
next
well,
to
that's
Maloney.
not Ford. Who? Oh, is that might be Patino? That's with, but I think that's supposed to be Jasser's guy right there. To be honest,
with Jasser right here.
Correct. He's
right under.
So Jasser's occupying space, which is why. So that throw is designed to go right at the penalty spot.
which is
If
where
you
he
look,
lands it.
it's almost landing right. That's exactly where the striker should be. That's why that's a set piece. Jasser needs to be in that dude's Kool-Aid, or Maloney needs to be in that dude's Kool-Aid. They just gave him too much space. And what they thought was that Mitch is going to win it. And when Mitch wins it, then we need to clear it. Well, the problem is it's designed to go over them to the guy on the spot. And that's exactly what it did. So it was just a well-played, well-executed set piece by Orange County.
And nothing Far could do on that.
And there's there's nothing. No one's reaction time's that good. And then here you go. Here's
Gallegos.
Jose doing Jose things.
Maloney.
Once again with the cross.
Epps is there, and Epps scores.
So this is
Perhaps-
around the
yeah.
66th minute here,
67th minute. You know.
or 67th minute. So here's my first question to you guys. Nathan's, he gets subbed off for Dylan. Was that the right move, you think? Because some feel that Patino should have came off if you're bringing on Dylan. Because Nathan's a little bit more of the creative.
No, for two reasons. Number one, what that was supposed to do and what it did end up doing is that's supposed to open up more opportunities for Patino. So the two center backs for OC are really good center backs. You have a former U.S. men's national team center back. You have a center back from Scotland who's played many games over there. Just good center backs. So basically, the striker's job for San Antonio and the striker's job for Tampa Bay in their upcoming game is just going to be occupying those center backs. That's it. That's a tiring job, running around knowing you're probably not going to get service, but at the same time occupying that to give space to the people underneath you. In this case, the people underneath were Nathan and Marcus. And they found a lot of joy underneath the striker. So you need somebody more physical, not necessarily quick, but somebody who's going to give a physical fight that is going to, just give space. And that's going to be Dylan all day. The reason that Nathan came off, Nathan hasn't exactly been healthy. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention. He hasn't been running freely for the last few weeks. He's been getting beat up quite a bit. So Nathan for Dylan makes sense. And then and what happened was Dylan went up and he occupied where Patino was getting tired all day, and Patino came back to occupy that space. He just never really, basically their center backs kind of split and they were occupying both of them that time. But that's how Epps ended up one-on-one with their right back and got that header because, right back's not going to be great in the air, and he got beat by Epps. And that's kind of what you do is you put those two forwards to occupy the two center backs, and then it's going to be the dudes underneath are just going to have their way with midfielders and with their fullbacks. And their fullbacks, they really pulled them in a lot to try to help out in that area. And that's why Connor was so open on that cross. And we kept going to that a few times. You can go forward and we can see if they show the other chance.
Well, I'll just comment on why I thought it was the right move is, and this is going to relate to your point here, Rafa, is going through the middle wasn't working this week. So if you bring in Dylan, you bring in Patino, and you kick it out to the sides when you cross it in, you got a lot more height. That's the reason why that's why I thought it was the right move. And Rafa, you're gonna, I know that's a point that we were talking about, during the pre-show here was the crossing and how that was here and how it's opening.
Yeah, if you pause it right here, you could see the 25 and is that 13 right there?
Yeah, they're right there in
those,
the center.
Those two are the defensive midfielders right there. And then right there at the corner of the box, that's their left back. Look how much room is left there because their left back is occupying, it looks like, is that Nathan right there? No, keep going.
Right
Keep going. To the right. Keep going. Right there. That's Nathan. To the left of Nathan? No, that's Maloney.
That's
Nathan. Yeah, that's Nathan.
Yeah.
So to the left of Nathan, that's their left back. To the left of Nathan, right behind him.
Right.
There is nobody out there in that entire corner, and that's why that cross is so easy for Maloney. He has all the time in the world to make that cross. And that's what they kept doing, is they kept pulling in their fullbacks to help out in the midfield, which allowed all the space and all the time in the world for any crosses to happen. And that's when we started. And that was effective for us. We created a lot of chances at the end of this game. It's just A, the guys were gassed. And B, the counterattacks really gassed us. OC got some quality counterattacks. I think Kamiri got rid of 3 of them by himself. Galito had a couple vital tackles, or else it would have been a blowout.
Ford had one.
Yeah, Ford had one as well. But we created a lot of chances that way. It's just we kind of fell into the hands of Orange County kind of playing this cross game, because their center backs are huge. They're big boys.
Could we have done this, like you mentioned about what's his name? Nathan being, not at 100%, is maybe start Dylan and Patino up top to match that height and to kind of give him some problems, especially on those crosses. And like I said, and open up a little more space on the wings, and maybe pull them, and the ability to pull them out. I think maybe he could have done that, and then bring in Nathan in for subbing in towards the end to add some speed and maybe some creativity. We could, that could have been a game plan that maybe could have been successful. Just kind of matching up with height, because they would have given. You can see how they're defending. They're really, like I said, they're really pulling back a lot of their center mids in there, and if you can kind of mix it up a little bit more in there, you're gonna have to make them move decisions as far as, okay, do I stay inside or do I go outside? And if they're gonna leave the outside, great, good, because we got tall forwards. They're gonna put that ball in the net, and that's what we got. That's how we got Epps got that goal.
Correct.
Because he got that 1v1 on the backside. I think maybe that could have been a better game plan going in. If we he's not 100%. Let's just match up with him up top.
Here's the problem with that, though. Marcina wants you to adjust to them, and he doesn't want to do what Landon Donovan did and adjust to us right from the start. So if San Antonio gets that first goal, it's a different game. It just is. So, I don't. Logically, it makes sense, but I think for how San Antonio is built and knowing Coach Marcina, he wants to press his style on. He thinks his style will win, and I'm sure going in, they had confidence that in the first half they were going to be able to get that goal to take the lead. And if they get that, then it shuts it down. And instead, OC got the goal first, and then San Antonio had to chase in the second half.
There are 2 big reasons. Well, let's go with 3 reasons why. Where am I going with this? There's 2 reasons why Marcina would never do that. And number 1 is you go with what got you here. The what do they call it? The 3-3-4 that we've been playing. That's what got us here.
Yeah.
The whole goal for this team has been to punch the other team in the face with the first goal and write it out and score another if you need to. That's what they've done, and that's what they could have done here against Orange County. Orange County did really well to counteract that by having their two, like I said, they had a back 4. They didn't really have a back 4. They had more of 2 center backs, 2 fullbacks in front of them, and then 2 midfielders. So they almost had a 2-4-2. No, a 2-4. Good God. It was supposed to be a 4-4-2, but they more had a 2-4-4.
Basically, it was a 4-5-1 when they were defending.
Yeah, pretty much. It was 2 in the back and then 5 in the middle, basically. And then would that be 1 or 2 up top? That's basically what they went with. And then they had a 1-1 up top. So, God, do the math on that. That's 4. So they would need 6. So, yeah. So I guess a 2-6-1-1 is kind of what they were rolling with.
Well, they were playing 3 in the middle. And then they just squeezed in their outside, their wingers inside.
That's true. Yeah, they had the other guy come back. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much they had a 3-5-1-1. Yeah, I would agree with that. And it was really good. They played everything really well. With that formation, what they did was they really negated PC, and they really negated Maloney on the wings. And because those are really our only 2 players giving width than everything in the middle. What Marcina could have possibly considered would have been going to the 4-4-2 that we saw earlier in the season, and that may have helped counteract some stuff. But it's not the most attacking formation, and OC is not an attacking team, so that just kind of would have been more of a stalemate, and I don't think that would have produced a lot, especially if SAFC is trying to get that first goal. It's just OC really played. They were really conservative in this game, and they really played to defend first, and they really try to capitalize on set pieces, and that's exactly what they did. They got that goal, and I mean they made it count.
If they went to that 4-4-2, like you mentioned,
yeah,
what they could have done is those two forwards up top play kind of together and play to the ball outside, and that would have pulled their two central defenders with them, and that would have left the middle open to send across back to Epps or to Mo or to Gallegos, and they would have had space for shots from outside. I think our forwards have to know how to run without the ball and to create some open lanes, and I think we didn't do a good job on that on this game. The last two games, yes, we did. This we just didn't do it.
Yeah, and I really do think it had a lot to do with how many numbers OC had in the middle. I think it was tough for the forwards to make those runs when you're surrounded by 3 or 4 guys.
But the ball wasn't getting to the forwards, though. To me, that was the other issue, is they weren't given the opportunity to make the runs because Jose, Abu, Epps, if they went towards the middle, I lost count of how many times Jose had 3 or 4 players circled around him.
Correct. I also lost count of times how many times Mo and Jose were absolutely murdered in the middle and nothing was called. So there's that too, and that would have been a lot of set piece opportunities that we could have capitalized on. Which, I mean, you play the ref. Elvis is well known for
he let him play and
that's the thing about Elvis. He lets him play until he doesn't. And he decides randomly when he wants to start calling stuff. Yes. That's very well known for doing that. And that's for all teams. That's everywhere for all of his games.
I was chatting with privately with one of the guys from the OC show, and I said San Antonio didn't lose the game because of the referee, but they
didn't win it because of the referee.
Well, how San Antonio plays, they commit a lot of fouls, but they also get a lot of fouls called for them, which is how they
get fouled a lot. Yeah,
which is how they create a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Right or wrong, Elton allowed them to play on, especially Jose and Abu in the midfield. They just got ate up, and he didn't call it. And
I mean, the first even. Sorry, I'm pretty sure it was Mike Watts that was on the call. Even he said when
Devin Kerr.
It was Devin. That's right. Sorry, it was Devin, not Mike. Mike is more. Yeah, it was definitely Devin. Even Devin said when Abu got fouled in like the 15th minute, he took a dude's studs to the hip, like to the pelvis.
Mm-hmm.
Studs to the pelvis, like. That's a red card almost any other time. It was apparently barely a yellow for Elton here, but I mean,
it was. Oh no, he did get a card.
He got it. It was an early yellow card. That's not really a borderline red. That's a red, dude. It was studs up
6 minutes
to the hip. Yeah, studs up to the hip. Yes, that changes the game, but at the same time, it changed the game for Mo because Mo was hurt. He was obviously hurt this entire game, and I'm pretty confident it's because he freaking got cleated to the hip. But at the same time, it's a playoff game. And I mean, you're not really the calls that would be normally made during the regular season aren't going to get called in the playoffs. So, I mean, good on them for knowing who to go after to kind of shut down some of our creativity. But at the same time, there's your dirty play there, Landon Donovan. So
All right, so moving on to looks like the 82nd minute here.
Who really matriculated to the senior level didn't get a lot of opportunities, and the regular repetitions finally
See,
coming.
and that's
This is
where
shot.
Dylan is
That's
so
where
important.
Dylan-
And just wide.
Yeah,
It was nearly his shot.
that's where Dylan is so important. You see him hold it up, and you look for the pass. That's exactly.
It'll be a throw-in
So
on the
what
far
I
side.
thought should have happened, if you want to
And
pause it
that
real
will
quick.
conclude-
What I thought should have happened whenever Dylan came in and for the last 10 minutes, I thought that Patino should have been taken out because he was obviously tired. The big connection that we had for a few games was Dylan to Ollie. I would have liked to seen Ollie, but the problem with bringing Ollie in, he's a very exciting player. The issue is that he would have definitely been given a defensive assignment. He has not exactly been the most trustworthy player with defensive assignments. He's gotten
especially on counterattacks.
But here's where I'm
So-
going to counter with you here a little bit.
Yep.
OC isn't an attacking team. So if
But they
if
did
you're-
have plenty of counterattacks though.
right, but I think our defense could, yeah, it almost seemed like that they were, I don't want to say that they were playing for PKs, but especially, in the extra time,
Right.
you got that feel just you could tell they were worn out, and it went for
Yeah.
both sides.
For sure.
Both sides were worn out, and to me, that's and that was one of
definitely-
my talking points is the subs.
Yeah. Definitely with the high press, like SAFC plays with, you're going to get tired faster. And OC really played, they sat back a lot, so they weren't as tired. So, I mean, that did kind of fall into their hands as far as the fatigue factor.
But OC was subbing though. That's the thing. So OC made 2 subs in the 74th minute. They brought on Seth Calypsy and Thomas Edevolson, both attacking players.
Yep.
Ben Mines, who was very pivotal down the stretch for Cabillo attacking. Sean Okoli came in the 90th minute attacking. So they brought in 4 attacking players where we subbed, you could say like for like, Nathan for Justin, both attack minded. That's to me where the issue was. And you could tell after they made the subs, the game started to tilt a little bit more their direction as opposed to prior, between the goal and between those subs. San Antonio looked like that they were getting that second goal.
Yeah. And at the same time, I think a big factor in that was Gleedle coming on for PC. That's an attacking sub.
But
obviously,
that was due to injury, though.
I know. It was because PC was hurt for sure. I'm just saying that Gleedle has the speed to really worry OC, and that they sat back on that right side, our left side, because of that. And when Sam kind of was attacking there on that left side, their right back had to stay back. So that left kind of their left side a little bit open, our right side. And so that's kind of where we went a lot for our attacks, was that right side, because they kind of shifted their formation a little bit to cover for Gleedle being for his speed and his pace on that left side. Which kind of worked in our favor because, I mean, if you notice on that pass goes to Dylan on the right side and comes into Epps, and he just put it off the post. That is an inch the other way, and that's in. That's off the post and in. That's just.
So here is the play of the day for me.
Yeah. This one. Oh my goodness. And that's ridiculous. And Maloney needs to head it out right there for a corner. He did not need to put that back in.
Completely cleared. It's Kiernan out of play. And that will end extra time for the second straight week. Orange County going to penalty kicks.
And unfortunately,
yeah.
And Dylan misses. Orange County on the precipice.
God, that sucks.
and that's all she wrote.
Could have done the Palenka on him.
Yeah, I mean, he went down early.
And Orange County, Western Conference.
Jordan was just inches from that one.
Yeah, and that's the thing that they showed was that Farr was real hesitant. That's the thing you can coach out, is to be more decisive and to go out there. He just needed to be a little more decisive in the PK. And I mean, the PK is it's completely slanted toward the striker as is, but man, that's just, man, well done OC. Well done to their fans.
Yeah, you got to tip the hat.
But it doesn't make it feel any better on our side. But like I said, the one feeling the one word I have for the season, the one word I have now, proud. That was great. The 2 playoff matches at home, nothing matches that for this entire franchise's history. They're great.
So,
and that's 2 seasons in a row in the playoffs, and we keep getting better. That's exciting.
It's just, I think we set the bar up for next year.
Yeah, that's it. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing.
Well, before we move on to next year, what was and we'll start with you, Rafa, here. What was your best moment of the year?
I think when we changed our defense, I think that was the best moment when we brought in Ford and Tainer. I think that changed the season for us, and it made things, I think, made our team a lot better. And you can tell that we just took it to another level with those guys. I think the defense we had before, it was just not cutting it, and that was to me, that was our turning point. That was what made like I said, the season for me, is bringing in those 2 guys in and look at what we were able to do on this run.
Royce, what was your moment of the year?
I have 3 moments of the year. Moment of the year 1, the 7 games in 21 days and how successful that was. 16 points out of the possible 21 points. That was the season right there. And I remember leading up to that during the COVID pause, just reiterating, this is it. This is the season. This is what's going to make them or break them right here. They need to put up or shut up. They got to win. And they did a lot and often and convincingly. And they bonded as a team during that. And that was awesome. Number 2, I'm going to go with Dylan's last minute goal against El Paso at home to win it. That was amazing. Man, that was such a good moment. The shirt ripping off, the whole celebration was great. Let me go with 4. I'm going to go with the third one is definitely the greatest South Texas Derby match ever. It had the most riding on it. The crowd was super into it. It was just a great time all around. It was awesome. Like, everything about that match was awesome. It was great. Very memorable. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. It was amazing. And then the 4th one was the first game, I believe it was in October, when we finally had a completely empty injury sheet. That was the first one all season that we did not have anybody injured, and I think it was in October, which is just nuts. Which just goes to show you how much this team went through this season with injuries, with players going off on loan for reasons, bringing in other players and still having that. And one of the things I really liked, some of the quotes that I saw the quotes from Courtney, saw the quotes from Mitch, I saw the quotes from Mo, and also Jordan. Jordan came in the latest out of all of them, just saying that this team brought me in and it was automatically family the second I got here, which goes to tell me that the culture that this team has built and the leadership in this team is second to none. And I mean, the captains, that would be PC, that would be Connor Maloney. I know we're going to get to it soon, but you've got to bring those guys back on multi-year deals. That is your culture right there. You have built it. Those guys have built it. They believe in it. You bring them back. Come on.
We didn't have the drama from the previous coach.
No, you didn't have the locker room drama that we had. Well, Yes,
As far as
but
the confrontation, but
I'll say that there was rumored drama in the locker room. Now I cannot substantiate this. This is just some rumors that I've heard that there was drama in the locker room, and that wasn't a factor anymore at the end of the season. Let's just put it that way. So where the previous administration tried to deal with that, this administration did not.
Yeah.
If you look into that how I want you to, that's how I want you to. If you don't get it, DM me later and I'll explain it.
So my moments, I got two of them. One's the RGV match.
Yeah.
It just, that was the first match where, and I don't mean this in a slight way to the San Antonio fans and the supporters, but it was the first match that seemed like it was pre-COVID, where the stadium was full and actually full, not, not tickets sold and people not.
That's
not
such a good
showing up
point.
here. But actually people in the stands, the crowd was buzzing. I don't do the wave, but I did the wave that night just because it was electric. And then the cameras on the phone. It was
Rex
just
made me do the wave.
it was a special night. And like I said here, it was against, RGV, our rivals. It was good there. Now, on the flip side, I'm also going to give one here to where the reason why OC hosted this game, and I'm going to correlate it back to OC, is OC plays a lot like Austin. Very defensive, very
good point.
very through there. And you look at our record against Austin this year. That's why we're not hosting. That's why we didn't host this game.
It's very true.
Is because
Were
of
we
that.
1 and 2? 1, 2, and 1.
1. We won 1, lost 2, and
tied 1. Yeah, that's what I thought. 1, 2, and 1.
We tied the October 23rd one 0-0.
We lost the 4th of July game, which is on the 3rd of July.
Right. We lost.
We won the one on my birthday in Austin. That was July 31st. We won that one. Right. What was that? The 3-0. We want 4. # we want 4. Yeah.
We win one of those home games against Austin. OC comes here. Now, I don't know if it's a different game because I think OC travels very well with that defense, just like Austin does.
Yeah.
And, but to me, those were the two key moments kind of looking back here. Just, quick thing here is Austin, had our number. Just the stats showed it as we struggled against Austin. OC played very much at the end of the year, very much like Austin. And I didn't catch that. I knew they were defensive, but I didn't realize how defensive they were and how they played it. And
they literally play with 8 defenders.
Yes. And
we
struggled.
9 if you include the goaltender.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
It's and I wouldn't say they parked the bus because that's their style, and yet they were able to counter. But to me, those are the 2 points on there. The other, the other, if I'm going to do a third one, would be the win at Colorado Springs for the first time in franchise history at the new stadium there. And like I said, what a redemption that was, and having made the trip 2 or 3 times to the Switchbacks, and unfortunately the year I don't go, they pull it out. Thank you guys.
Gee, I wonder what the common factor in all those is. Harry, I think you need to stay home, my guy.
But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say no. Go ahead.
But we talk about game and benches, and you can go through and positive and negatively, and find the tie in Vegas, the Austin matches, the
Pittsburgh game,
the tie in Vegas.
The Pittsburgh game, we had that one.
It's that close on being able to host. But
I'll bring one up. That is still a craw on my side.
El Paso.
Rescinded red card.
All right.
That rescinded red card, and that would have been Kamiri's red card that had a penalty that tied the game. That's as close as we were from hosting.
Yep.
A bad call from an official.
So, early games matter, close games matter, along those lines here. So, like I said, overall, you have to give this season an A plus. Just
plus 99.
And just how this team came in. Now here's the problem. So we're just going to go by positions, and we if you want to delve into it or not delve into it through here. So as the roster stands right now, goalkeepers, Jordan Farr, he's on emergency loan, technically
he's going back to Indy 11. Yep.
Cardoni was hurt. You got to wonder if he's coming back. He's kind of at that age where it's not only injuries, but is he ready to take the next step in life? And then
100. Yeah. I mean, that's gonna be the big thing. We'll see how bad Cardoni's injury is. The goalkeeping in USL, there's some top goalkeepers for sure that are going to be free agents. So I mean that the market is there. At the same time, we'll see if Cardoni can come back healthy. That's going to be a huge question mark for this offseason.
Or do we move on from Cardoni?
Or do we move on? That's
Rafa, and Royce, if we want to chime in. From my understanding, our goalkeeper coach was at Juan
La
Madrid. He's one of the top goalkeeper coaches. I'll say in the United States, at least in USL, I know for sure.
Yep.
So that has to be a good pulling thing. I know Zach Lubin's out, out at Phoenix. Along those lines. So goalkeeper, not too worried about. Forwards, I'm going to switch because the last one I'll come to is the center backs because I think that's going to be the biggest one. Forwards, Nathan, loan with Cordita FC, who got promoted to the first division in Brazil. Patino and Dylan for that here. Any comments on those three?
I think Patino comes back. I think if he stayed healthy the whole year, he'd probably be going back to MLS. I think if he has a good year next year, he'll go back. He'll be in MLS. But I think we'll get him back. Dylan, remember he was out early too. Like I said, with injuries.
Yep.
He's a question mark. Nathan, to me, that's your USL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And now the team in Brazil, moving up to the Serie A, I know Harry discussed this, they have 9 forwards on their roster. So I did see that. I would think that he would I think SAFC would be aggressive to keep him here for one more season. Eventually, like I said, that team's he'll probably want to go back and play in that Serie A. But I think he's not going to get the playing time. When you have 9 forwards ahead of you,
correct.
Get the playing time. So I can see Patino and Nathan coming back. Dylan will be the question mark for our forwards.
So, any comments from you?
I could see Patino coming back. I did see his Instagram post where he kind of thanked everybody, and he said he kind of rediscovered his career. He rediscovered his passion for soccer. Which is exciting because he has all the talent in the damn world. And even in the airport, whenever I met up with him, I was like, dude, you're such a damn inspiration. Just you going through it this season, being out 3 months with a stress fracture, it's so frustrating. But to see him come back and to see him be successful, and he scored a goal in each of the playoff games, didn't he? Thinking about it, yeah. So
except for the last one,
yeah. Obviously, shut up, Harry.
I'm just saying. You said
I know.
It is for his PK.
I know. He honestly. So peek behind the curtain. Whenever I took that stupid ass, I lit a candle for the team when they were going to PKs, and I put up the Patino poster and I lit the candle in front of it. I was like, I just cursed Patino, dude. What am I doing? And I was like, I closed my eyes watching that game whenever he was going to take his PK. I was like, oh, God, please make it. Please make it. And he freaking netted that thing. I was like, oh, thank God.
So his has almost got stopped because it did. The goalie did
Yeah.
touch it.
No, he went the right way, but he hit it with enough pace to make sure. But yeah, man. I hope Patino comes back. Hat trick in his first game, a goal in the second game, and then he bookended it at the very end of the season with two goals in 3 games. Like, yeah, man. Yeah. If he's up for it, you bring that dude back in a heartbeat. And same thing with Nathan. Nathan, like you said, he is a contender for Rookie of the Season for sure. So that's also exciting.
Midfield, Shannon Hopino on loan from the Sounders. Emil Cuello, we loaned out to Sac Republic to get Mitch Tainer. Ethan Bryant was loaned out to Richmond. Leo Torres was loaned out to Real Monarchs towards the end of the season. Chris Lima, Cam Lindley, Ollie Wright, and I think Ollie's post made it seem like he's coming back. Jose Gallegos, which according to, was it Transfermarkt, is under contract still for next year. Epps and Abu. So we'll start with you, Royce. Your thoughts?
Oh, good God. Oh, man. I'm just going to be opinionated.
That's why we have a podcast.
I know, dude. You got to bring back PC. You got to bring back Mo. That's your heartbeat right there. Both of those guys. And those dudes will, those dudes are run through a brick wall worthy. You got to bring back Epps. Epps has one of the best stat lines in all of USL. He was absolutely incredible this season. I remember some idiot on this show said that he's probably going to be the left back or the left wing back. No, dude.
I think that was me, right?
That was me. I said that. But
well, to be fair, at the time we didn't have one.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
They were
And
going
then
to experiment.
then I was like, oh wait, PC's the left back. What are we doing? And then Gleedle came. At the same rate. Let's see. Let me go with my thoughts. So, Epps, Mo, PC must bring back. Jose, he may be going somewhere in the winter window. We'll see. Obviously, there's plenty of interest.
He has to, right? He has to.
I mean, you'd think so. Hold on real quick. Sorry about that. Got a little nose thing going on here. I think the weather's changing. Let's see. Who else is in the midfield? Like I said, Jose, we'll see. Ethan had a dominant season in Richmond. I even had a bunch of Richmond Kickers fans reach out to me and just say, hey, yeah, we want to sign this dude permanently. This guy changed our whole season around, which does not surprise me. I told him whenever he was
going over there,
heading over there, I was like, you guys are getting an 8. That's just, he's great. And he's going to be really good for y'all. And then, a few weeks later, it was like, yeah, we need to sign him permanently. This guy's great. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens with Ethan, whether he comes back.
Leo, I think, signs it elsewhere. Well, gets sold.
I think
because he's under contract as well.
Here's my theory. I think Jose gets transferred. I think he goes to whatever European team he decides to. And I think Leo comes in and replaces Jose. As that attacker, as that dynamic attacker on the right side, and you have Epps on the left side. I think that's what's going to happen, and then you'll have your striker in the middle. Obviously, Rafa disagrees with me, but it's my opinion. Let's see.
You're wrong. I can tell you you're wrong. Real, from my understanding, Real Salt Lake likes him.
Okay.
So now whether likes him enough to where them and San Antonio can reach a deal, that's a different discussion.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think with him, he did have those 2 goals with him.
Yeah.
I think it opened the door for him to stay over there. And now that Real Monarchs are no longer going to be with the USL, it makes sense to Leo to stay since he's going to be in that MLS, the MLS,
the MLS third division. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's a stepping stone for him to get into that first team. So I think more than likely he's going to end up getting sold.
But it's a sold. That's the thing, though, is that because technically if he goes to the Real Monarchs at the MLS 3 or whatever division that they're going to call it, that would be a step down where, I think he's trying to look at possibly getting more minutes to be able to go further up. So
correct.
It would have to be the Real Salt Lake that does the purchase and then maybe starts them out down there and then does the yo-yo on the lineup.
Hockey calls it a two-way contract. Yeah, but we'll see.
I think that's what happens with him.
But I don't see Shandon coming back.
I don't see Shandon coming back either. He didn't get a lot of playing time, especially toward the end. When he was
Lindley, to me, are the big question marks.
Yeah, those are the two big question marks. And in my opinion, I would love to have Lindley is almost a must bring back. He was another metronome in the midfield, and he really commanded stuff. And he is captain material for sure. If you want to continue this culture, Lindley's another guy you need to bring back, especially for the future. As far as Lima goes, I would love to have Lima back. I don't see him coming back because he just didn't get a lot of minutes. And he was vital this season, especially when PC was out. He was huge, for sure, but I just don't see him coming back since he didn't get a lot of minutes. And if they bring back everybody that we're hoping they bring back, I don't see a lot of minutes for him next season either, which sucks. But at the same time, it's a business, so it would be great to have him back, but I don't think he comes back, and that's just because there's just because of minutes, just because he deserves to elongate his career as long as he can get it, and he needs to find minutes for that.
Fullbacks, Gleadle, Maloney, PC. I know most everybody's Maloney, PC, hoping, praying, putting out candles to come back. Gleadle to me is kind of a question mark because he was a late signing coming in.
Right.
I would love to have him back. I thought he was
absolutely.
But I thought it was going to be Gleadle Maloney, but it ended up being PC and Maloney. So if he's wanting to start, and it's going to be PC and Maloney next year as well, especially if you're bringing back Abu, because that would be the other spot for PC for that here. But your thoughts on the wing back, fullbacks, depending on the formation.
I think for me, I like to bring Gleadle back. I think he's a good utility to have in case PC goes down or Maloney. Well, remember Maloney was down, so he brought in vital minutes and play and great playing in that spot. And I know he wants to play, and I think he does deserve a little bit more playing time. But I think one thing is he's got a good character, and that's what you want in the locker room. I think he's a good locker room guy to have, and also leadership too. I think he could be a leader, like a captain as well. So I think Gleadle's a must. PC's a must as well. Maloney, I think you can bring him, because you can bring him back in. So I would like to see them bring maybe another winger to kind of solidify a little bit, just in case, add a little depth there, just in case, if Mo goes down or PC or because we were at times when we played games, we had players out of position, and that killed us, especially with getting some points in certain games. So I said I think those three are very important to bring back, especially if you're building that culture in the locker room. Those are the three guys you want on there.
Center back.
Well, hold on.
Nope.
As far as fullbacks go, it'd be great to bring those three back, PC, Maloney, and Gleadle. And where Gleadle and Maloney are just completely invaluable, is that they can play right and they can play left back. They can both invert. That's huge. And PC, what PC does is that he'll start on the left and he'll come and he'll help out in the midfield when they need it. So that's why PC is also vital. You bring those three back every day of the week, as far as I'm concerned.
Center back. And the reason why I saved this is because technically speaking, we could see an entirely new back line out of 6. Mitchell Tainer's on loan with Sac Republic, so we don't know what his contract status is, if he signed a multi-year contract with them or if it was just a 1 year. If it's a 1 year, I like our odds a lot better. If it's multi-year, you put the ball in Sac Republic's hand.
You're talking about Tainer's Tanner's contract. I'm pretty confident. I'll look up again, but I looked it up earlier. I'm pretty sure it expires at the end of this month, like everybody else's.
Okay. Joaquin Varela on loan. I forgot to look up his team. Courtney Ford from the or not from his team, but San Martin de Tucumán.
I was going to say it's the Tuc. Yeah, you got me.
I forgot which league it was in. Courtney Ford from the Rapids. I know the Rapids have the option of bringing him back, and I know he's a fan favorite up there. Also, and this also applies to Jasser Kamiri as well, on loan from Vancouver Whitecaps with Charlotte coming into the league for there may be opportunities via the expansion draft or other areas where they may get selected. If their options picked up or free agents along those lines. Matthew Duplain, and then Axel Schulberg are the two center backs that we have that are not loanees on there. So we have a great back line that could magically be gone. And that's the problem. It's a great thing with loans, but it's also the problem come into the year. So we'll start with you, Rafa, and that way, Royce, you can get your thoughts in line on your preferences. Your thoughts on the six and on the six center backs and the options that San Antonio may or may not have.
If it's true what Roy said about Tanner being his contract's up, you go after you sign him. I think he realized he's better off here than Sacramento. I think he enjoyed playing a lot better here. You can see he had a good pep in his play being down here. I think he understands it's about a lot better culture. Plus, he won't have his teammates tackling him, going after him.
Yeah, he won't have his teammates cleaning him and everything. Good God, I forgot about
Foster,
your teammate. How are you going to take a chunk out of your team? Good.
Yeah, you'll forget. You're not going to forget that. So
no.
I think you build around Tanner. Varela, I think you bring him back because I think that team's a second division team.
Second division in the Argentinian league.
Yeah, correct. And I think you can pull some strings on that, and I think you can bring him back, or you can even even purchase his contract, and make it a permanent because he did come in vital times to help our defense, especially that Colorado game with that separated shoulder.
Yeah,
I mean that just shows how tough he is, and I think he can hang there, being a good backup for that triangle. Ford basically solidified his contract with Colorado or with another with maybe even with Charlotte. So I think he did what he had to do. He earned it.
Or might I say Austin?
No.
They had a pretty high profile center back retire. So
yes,
I would hate to see that, but I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. Courtney, please don't. Please don't.
Go to Charlotte. It's a lot better there.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, I wouldn't even go that far. I mean, have you seen the turmoil in Charlotte? Their players have not been paid.
Well, that's the Independence. So
that's still. I mean, same city. I'm going to say the same thing.
Well, to compound that, you got MLS Charlotte that's playing in an NFL stadium that's doing PLS rights. You got the Independence in USL that's got a questionable owner, doesn't pay
salaries. Yep.
Doesn't pay salaries, created a supporters group and few social media accounts. And then in Nisa, Stumptown FC is owned by the league, which is supposed to be an open league. So right. Charlotte, dumpster fire.
Yeah, just collectively. Oh, and also Charlotte City FC is out. They stupidly call themselves the MLS team.
Charlotte MLS.
Whatever. Yeah, sure. They also have the most expensive tickets by far in the league.
Not even close.
So not even close. I think it's double the nearest. So yeah, stupid.
That is back to Colorado then.
or come here. I mean,
Charlotte's going to be a disaster.
What I will say, I mean, honestly, Courtney, go wherever pays you the most. But exactly. if you have it in your heart to come back, love to have you, man. But what I will say about Courtney and Colorado is Colorado was actually the best team in the Western Conference. this season. So they're probably going to try to bring back as much as possible their whole squad. We'll see.
That's not the San Antonio way, though. I don't see any way DePlane or Axel comes back.
I don't see. I see Axel just had a kid. He's not thinking about it. He's like, okay, cool. We'll figure it out later. He's got a family to take care of, and for sure. So we'll see. It would be great to have Axel back. He was awesome in the middle of the back three when we had him. Honestly, I'm glad he got some time with his family. Matthew, I don't see Matthew coming back either. I know it was rumored that a French second league was very interested in signing him, and I think they were just waiting for the winter transfer window to pick him up. So I'm pretty sure he's going back to France.
And then Doyle will probably go somewhere else.
Doyle was already transferred,
Yeah, for sure.
So that's where we at. Historically,
Let me.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me finish up real quick. A point that we made about Varela is, he's Argentinian too, and you could probably definitely put in a transfer bid for him. And at the same time, put the transfer bid in for Nathan. Whoever else our scouting connection is in South America, killing it. Absolutely killing it. And yeah, Varela was a damn warrior in that Colorado game when he separated his shoulder and he still came back in. Like that'll earn you a multi-year contract right there, just to gut it out like that. And then, like you said, Nathan is easily a contender for rookie of the year. That's a no-brainer. If you can bring him back, especially if the team now has 9 forwards. Put in a modest bid to purchase his contract.
Historically, San Antonio does not bring back a lot of players, though. So that's the issue.
That's the elephant in the room.
I hate to say it, is San Antonio signs a lot of 1-year contracts. Right or wrong, that's their style. It wouldn't shock me if next year we're like, we have a brand new team, and just.
Well, let's think real quick on who the returning players from last season. Returning players for this season that we had last season, obviously PC, Connor, Cardoni. Do we have anybody? Obviously Jose, yeah. Obviously Leo, obviously.
Mapardo as well. Both of the goalkeepers came back.
Yeah. So, but you did have a fairly decent core of players that came back, which is kind of the first time in SAFC history where you kind of had a core come back.
I'm going to push back on core.
Okay.
Because Leo came back, Jose came, so you had PC and Maloney.
Yep.
And you had Jose.
Yep.
Those were the 3 starters.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And, taking out the goalkeeper side here, because I think as long as Cardoni.
You could say Cardoni. You could say 4 starters.
Right. But I just.
And to be fair, Pirano would have come back if a contract would have worked out. He was going to Europe no matter what. Everybody knows that. It just didn't work out in our favor when he went. But at the same time, if that move wasn't up for grabs, they would have brought Pirano back. So that would have been 5 guys that would have been here as the core.
So this is something that we'll ask later.
Yep.
Do you think San Antonio try to go back and get Pirano, because he has not played at least in the.
I think he's with the U23 team. I think that's where he's been playing. But the Portuguese U23 league just got underway like a couple months ago, and I have not seen any sort of scores for I don't know where you find the scores, and I don't read Portuguese, so that really doesn't help.
No, I don't get the U23s, but yeah, I follow him on Twitter, and I haven't seen his name pop up.
So do I. I check every match roster to see if he made the 18. Well, I think they have like 21 or something, but he hasn't yet for them. But at the same time, their team
it's competitive.
Was it Pacos de Fiera? Yeah, they were second last season in the league, and at the same rate, they have a lot of veterans on that team.
And they beat Tottenham in the.
Yeah, 1-0
Europa,
Europa League. Yeah,
conference, right? It wasn't the league; it was the conference, right? It was the one below that.
Not the Europa League.
it's a Europa League. It was the
They haven't made the change yet, I think, yet.
Oh,
Yet.
okay.
Eventually they're
right. They're so I'm
Well,
kind of
there's
doing
two
the
Europas this year, so
frat thing.
but yeah, so
Right. Well, I mean, it's the conference, so I think the conference is before you get to the Europa League. So it's like the Champions League qualifiers, basically.
Yeah.
so
But it's the Europa League qualifiers to get there.
I think that's probably be the opportune time to go after him if you do lose Jose.
I think so.
I think if he's not really going to play in time, I think if you send somebody over there and just kind of reason with him and say, hey, you don't feel like you're getting your playing time and this and that, just come back here, get your playing time, and then hopefully maybe that'll convince them, hey, we do need to play him a lot more.
or even see if you can bring him back on a loan.
That's right. Yeah, that's what they need to do as far as getting a loan for him. I think people should be, a priority to try to bring him back. Because imagine if you're having him with Nathan and
good God,
Coutinho and Epps.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Jose too. Shoot, you pick your poison.
If you have those four up top, then you can kind of do an OC style thing where you have 3 in the back and then 3 midfielders just kind of sitting back there, and then you have those 4 just absolutely tearing people apart. Yeah, that would be something to watch. That would be absolutely something to watch for sure.
And then the one thing about playing over there in Europe, especially with that team, I'm sure he's gotten a lot better technically.
Yeah. Technically, a lot more physical.
Around a lot of people here.
Yeah. The physicality is a big thing over there. So I'm sure he's already he's like the Messi square as is. He's very hard to knock over when he doesn't want to go over. But yeah, I'm sure he's going to be a lot more physical. I'm sure his skill level is just going to go up. It's a very similar thing to Ethan Bryant. Ethan Bryant had that season that he was over there. Unfortunately, his team folded because of the pandemic, and he was able to come back. And they put him on a League One team one step below the championship, and he absolutely dominated on that team. And he brought that entire team up a couple levels to compete in that league.
So I'm going to start final thoughts, or at least one that I'm pretty sure that all of us are going to have, and that goes out to Courtney Ford and Mama Ford.
Yep.
I know I lost my father to cancer, and so hearts go out to the Ford family. If you go on to at Court Ford on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure it's on most of his social feeds, he's got a GoFundMe set up to kind of help cover the costs, unfortunately, for his mom to make her
for hospice care
last days as the best quality of life as possible. So Courtney, thinking about you and your mom, and like I said here, just cherish those last few days that you have, because they'll be what you remember. And unfortunately, when she takes the next step up.
Yeah. God, try not to crack up here. Or
that's why I stopped.
I know, not crack up. I'm at a loss for words. I'm getting emotional.
I got you. I knew what you meant.
Teary-eyed.
Yeah, exactly. Good Lord. Obviously, donate to him and his family.
If you can.
SAFC family for sure. That's a rough situation he's dealt with all season, and he's dominated on the field, and he's still dealt with this off the field. It's been incredible. And dude's a warrior. And if you read his mom's story, his mom's a damn warrior too. So, prayers up for you, man. Hearts out to you and your family, to the Ford family. And, yeah, man, rough situation, but really happy. Happy he gets that time for sure.
Any final thoughts from you, Rafa? I know you unfortunately experienced some loss this year as well. So,
just like I said, just prayers out, to Mama Ford, and like I said, and to the rest of this family. And like I said, if you have an opportunity to donate, or even donate to any cancer charity too. Cancer sucks, and hopefully we find a way to with donations and stuff, we'll find a cure for this and be able to beat this and keep our loved ones here a lot longer with us and so forth. So, just go out there and send a little prayer to for him, and like I said, we just wish the best for him and his mom.
Any other final thoughts that you have with it being Thanksgiving? Any final Thanksgiving thoughts that you want to give out?
I mean, just be thankful that you're going to be with your families. I know the cliche is the going to it, like, oh, it's going to be such a burden. I got to be with my family. Cherish it. Cherish every moment. You're not always going to have your family with you.
Yeah.
Cherish it, man.
Your thought, Rafa?
Same thing. Like, I'm experiencing one without my dad, but for me, I just want to thank you guys, for being here for me and for going through this. It's been almost 4 months, going through this, and you guys have kept me up, and I thank God for having you guys here with me. So I can't thank you enough. And then just hug your loved ones, because you never know when it's their time and so forth, and you want to cherish as much as you can and so forth. So, and then just out there, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Be safe. That's the big thing. Be safe.
Number one, be safe. Yeah, for sure.
Don't eat too much turkey. and just and then one other thing is one I'm looking forward to is next week. Next week is the start of the high school soccer season for the public schools, and if you're on any podcasts, like I said, I actually will be tomorrow night with Coach Cano on his cast. We're going to do a little preview of the preview, and this little talk about statewide. This is more about statewide as far as high school soccer, and also talking about the private schools are already in season, so we'll discuss on that. So we'll be on tomorrow night at 7:30. So a little shout out to Coach Cano for inviting me for your show.
And we will be getting into high school soccer next week. We'll still work out the schedule. I know it'll be me and Rafa. Royce, I'm not sure, how well he does with the high school. He's more of our San Antonio FC tactical expert here, so we may give him. But you're
gonna have to take him to some games.
Yeah, I know. We got to go. I got to take Rex to some games for sure. And Harry, after we get off of here, I need to talk to you about trying to get him into San Antonio Surf or into Premier, which is right down the road as well. So we'll talk youth soccer. That'll be fun.
My final thought, kind of echoing with the other two guys here, but with the family aspect here, me and my wife, it was a couple of weeks ago, but this was kind of the first week that we really put it in play here is take a break off social media, internet, stuff like that. We've decided, hey, Sundays, is going to be the day that we take a break here. And it was surprisingly fun. And like I said here, I used to always check my phone, as you guys all know, I'm always on Twitter. I know this was really bad timing with San Antonio losing. So,
I'm sure it was easy. Oh, they lost?
I was
We're
all
done.
like, well, it wasn't, because I knew I was going to catch grief. Hey, where's Harry? Where's Harry? Harry's always got something to say, and all of a sudden Harry's gone. But it was actually kind of refreshing to just stay off and deal, enjoy the family, watch some movies, played some games, and because nowadays it's so easy to, hey, we'll eat together, and then Anna goes to her room, AJ goes to his room, I go to my room, Monica does her thing, but for a day saying, hey, we got to spend quality time together, it was kind of good. And especially with being Thanksgiving, just take care of that, enjoy your friends, families, and like I said here, it's been a pleasure for this year with covering San Antonio FC. I want to thank Preston, for all that you do for us, keeping us in the loop here. I know you don't have to do that. Like I said here, we're not writers, but, thank you for doing that. Hopefully we make you a little bit proud. I know sometimes we can be a little bit tough on the boys, but I think this year we've been a little bit more fair and a lot more balanced with the positive, with the negative. Want to thank all the guests that we've had for San Antonio FC, Mark Bay, Matt Pollard up in Colorado Springs with the Rapids, especially with the Courtney Ford story. Obviously Edson,
Kaler,
Kaler, from the Legion podcast.
Southwick,
Landon Southwick, although I don't know you anymore because you're going to a different league.
That's all the tweets.
Radar.
The bold guys, Mark Bay, the Striker Texas. Like I said here, if you're looking for a USL podcast, hey, we're here. We wouldn't mind hopping onto the network. And thank you to Jonathan Check for all that you do. Aaron, with Ticket 760. Steven Anderson. Just thanks everybody for what you guys do. You may not always be on the show, but I'll ask questions to you and along those lines. I want to thank to Max and Robert. I know two of our biggest followers on there. Aaron as well. And just thank you to all the supporters groups, Crocketeers 210, Mission City. It's been a fun season. Rest up, because the news will be coming fast and furious, because I've got word that probably isn't public yet, but when New Mexico hired their coach, he probably let something go, but the season's going to start first part of March. So we're already at the end of November.
I think this upcoming season is going to be a lot more competitive as far as team building goes.
Yes.
I think crap starts happening December 1st after all these contracts expire at the end of November. I think December 1st things are just going to start lighting up.
Lighting up in the NBA.
Yep.
Yeah, it's these deals are done ahead of time. Let's be honest with
they're agreed to in principle, and then they're official. Yeah.
Players talk. This will be what might be a little bit tricky is with the USLPA. They got a players agreement now for that here. But so for San Antonio FC coverage, it's probably going to go a little bit more on the back channel. A lot more high school coverage is going to be popping up probably between 1st of December after the holiday break through March, and before San Antonio FC picks back up here.
That means preseason is probably going to be February, so it's probably going to be a solid 3 months between December 1st until probably February 28th. Is this going to be I'm going to be refreshing Twitter the entire time, just waiting to see what happens.
So we'll have but high school goes through March as well, right?
Well, it's April. Actually,
to April, and then playoffs start. Yeah.
So
the state tournaments in April. Playoffs starts about right around spring break.
Gotcha.
And then we also have the big question also going in. We have realignment coming up. That's going to be interesting. I've already hearing rumors. A couple 6A teams might be dropping down to 5A.
Oh wow!
And that's going to shake a lot of things. And then we have a new school coming up on the far west side, Sotomayor High School. They're going to come into play varsity right away. They may be a factor going in. It's affecting a couple teams, in which we'll discuss in a few weeks and so forth. But I'm excited because we don't know who's a. I'll leave it as that. We'll get into a little bit more. I'm gonna little tease there, so that way they can tune in. I don't want to give it all away.
Yeah. So, but thank you to everybody. Sorry for the long ending, but like I said here, wanted to give a lot of thanks with it being Thanksgiving. And I do want to also, thank Mike and Jenny Check. You guys are awesome, and like I said here, great fans, for it here. And like I said here, whenever I see you guys, you always are so kind and ask questions about the show and stuff. So
always. Also, shout out to Steve Arters as well.
Steve Art
who made his way out there.
James
for
Hope,
sure.
Yep.
Hope.
Any final thoughts that you want to shout out, Rafa, with your with your gangs that follow?
Just shout out to all the people that came to the games, cheered them on, and even in the friendlies too. It's tough going to all of them, but hey, it was great to experience all that. Seeing some MLS Liga MX teams come here, that was a good experience for players.
Yep.
I think that was even a kind of a turning point for a couple of our players to really kind of turn up a notch.
Hey,
And
we're
so-
past that section, man.
Yeah, I know. but I was happy about that.
We're an hour and 20 minutes. I said this was going to be quick.
Yeah.
But
I
like I said-
didn't I tell y'all like
Yeah.
what if we tried to do a quick episode? Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Well, I
I'm
said,
like,
hey,
yeah,
let's not
we have
go
to
in.
go.
Hour
We have to
next
go out.
year.
We have to go out with a
Hour minimum.
bang. And we have to go out with a bang here with this AFC. So
I guess if we're gonna end this season on one word, proud. Super
Yeah.
proud. The whole club, up and down. I think one of the bigger underrated moves was Lou Leva going from the club to US Soccer. Like
Yes. Luis.
that's huge aspirations. Shout out to Lou. But that's how well intertwined this club is in US Soccer, is that, and there's only one way, and that's up. And we showed it this season, the potential for this club to go up. And let's do it again next season. I'm super pumped. Super pumped.
So there's going to be new teams next year, teams that we won't see again.
Yep.
But that's life in lower league soccer. But
Yep.
I want to say, like I said here, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Like I said here, thoughts and prayers to to Courtney and your family, and Mama Ford. But what's life without goals? We're out of here.
So, yep.